Hello A-Sven-gers, it's me Svenny Today I'm looking at a new game here. This is called Save Me Mr Tako, the definitive edition. Now this was provided to me by Limited Run Games as a review copy. Of course note I'm not paid for this review and all opinions are my own. So without any further waiting, let's jump right in and take a look. So right off the bat, very clear here, we have an awesome original Game Boy aesthetic going on here. You can make one of your 3 saves. You can see I've put almost 4 hours into this now, and I'm barely 25% in. So of course our title character here, Mr. Tako. Tako is actually Japanese for octopus, and that's what we are. Sleeping, apparently, when I idle too long. A sleeping little octopus. Mr. Tako, on his base level, shoots ink whenever he needs to attack somebody. But you can upgrade that throughout the game. And all of his shots are derived from hats. Now the game has a built-in hat mechanic, whereby when you go and meet this, I believe it's an otter? Kitty cat? It goes underwater. But there always are different type of hats you can use. So there's like a bow and arrow hat, there's a flower hat. Again, you have a sword, flying hearts, you've got whips, and of course there's even bouncy balls. So I believe there's 50 hats in total you can achieve. Sometimes you get them through main quests, and sometimes you find them along the way in the different maps. Awesome. Now the idle animation shows Mr. Tako sleeping, but when he sleeps, your ink will recover. Now one thing you should note here right off the beginning is, again, derived from similar to another Game Boy game. This guy kind of resembles Kirby, and in that loving respect here, this map is kind of like the original Kirby's, where you go through the series of doors in order to select what level you want to play. That means you can go back to an original and play it again if you'd like. Of course, all the levels will play differently as you continue to go on, progress, and get different hats. You can attack enemies in different ways. Those feather pickups are basically your free lives. So I've been playing for a little bit, I've been building up here. And along the way, there's little things like breaking the pots, aka Legend of Zelda, where you can find other little items. Again, this is clearly a game of love. Some of the best ways of flattery here is by mimicry, and this is what we've got here. This clearly, the creator has a lot of love for the original nostalgia here. And I want to show that a little bit further. See, in the game you can choose your different color palettes, usually by the left and right bumpers. So here you have the level 1, this looks like the original, but just like playing on the Super Game Boy or playing on a Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance, you can choose the different ones, and in fact you can go all the way up. There's 16 different ones. And new to the definitive edition is an auto. So the game basically picks the aesthetic for you, and again, because we're underwater here, it's going with that blue as opposed to going the gray or a red or the green scale. So I like playing along with the auto. It's fun to toggle, but the auto is a nice feature to have. Midway through game, there are checkpoints, and at these areas, you can actually now access your friend here in order to change up your hats. Now as for his standard movements, Mr. Tako has a pretty good jump, and he kind of does this little scurry when he gets close to climbing up, where he kind of just pulls himself up there. Pretty cool. Mr. Tako can always look down because sometimes there are dangers, but something that was also added in the definitive edition is the ability to look up now. So you can see if there's missing gems or something up there that you should be going up to collect. Now, as you can hear, there's always a colorful soundtrack at play, and there's always different game mechanics being thrown at you. Check out that beauty hair. Now if I do want to switch back my moves on the go, I can push the X button. And change it up. I like these guys here running around because when you get hit, They kind of do like a Sonic roll. Now, in addition to a lot of the standard type of platforming, you do have a weapon on you, and there are a lot of times you have to go around and solve puzzles such as this. Pretty clever. So in between the mini maps where you can go and get little level ups, save people, get gems, you're getting the currency here, which you can use to then buy power-ups also. And once you hit 100, you get an extra life. In these interim little maps, you can actually go up to characters and talk to them. And you walk up and push the up button on your D-pad, and you can have your little conversations that way. So further into the main storyline, the many side quests. Every time you find these little buildings and go inside, there's always little mini games that you can play as well. And completion of those mini games sometimes gives you jewels, or in this case, free life. So Mr. Tako here takes you under the sea and on land here. And the whole thing is there's a conflict between humans, octopi, and within humans themselves, and within the octopi themselves. Everybody's at war. Who's gonna win? I don't know. But despite its exterior here of looking like a cutesy Kirby game, some levels can be a little bit difficult. There's actually quite a bit going on here. There are family struggles, there's political undercharge here, both clearly within the game's storyline, but also sometimes some subtext underneath. And some of that can be found within some of the humans' texts themselves, discussing how humans actually take care of each other, and also sometimes from the perspective of an octopus, perceiving what humans are like and how humans behave and how they treat each other, destroying the planet, destroying each other. If you're jumping between worlds, or plain and simple, you put the game down for quite a while and you come back later on, one feature added is when you go and talk to your friend here, they'll remind you of some of the last quests you were working on at the time. So giving you hints now, basically. And that wasn't something in the original game, but again, that's been brought forward here in this new definitive edition. Now, on the creator Christoph's Patreon, which I'll put a link in the description below, you can see the differences as to the original release of Mr. Tako and the definitive edition. Now, this is being published now through Limited Run Games, as stated, so it's actually through a new publisher, and making that transition, the game got pulled from the eShop. That's why it's coming back with a brand new polish on it and being published through Limited Run and going back to the eShop on May 5th, 2021 that way. Some of the things that make it different in the definitive edition, you have this music option now, and every time you go through and unlock a level, you can actually now access that track here. And you can see there's a lot of them. I believe there's about 100 tracks in total to unlock. Now, we had mentioned the different changes you can make with the color palette. This grid feature here, I can't really see it here, but up close it really just puts in little boxes, kind of gives it that vintage feel. The pixelated graphics of the original Game Boy. Now you can actually change the screen mode, and that is cool. Some people definitely want to play it in the original Game Boy format, and voila, look at that. You've got your 4:3 ratio. I don't mind having it on the stretch screen, but this is definitely a cool way to play the game as well. One other thing is, with this new release, there are all different backgrounds. And another thing I wanted to show off with the new update is when you go to a new game, there's actually not just an easy and kind of a hard, there's actually the classic way to play it, which limits you to 9 lives. You cannot go into that 50+ barrier where I'm at now, and you're down to 1 hit point deaths. Standard, you start with 10 lives, but you have also that 1 hit point. And I've been playing it under Heart, which actually gives you 3 hit points, as well as no cap on the number of lives you can accumulate in the game. And it says right here, that's for people who want to enjoy the story, which myself, I've enjoying casually playing this, though I could see how adding that tension would bring back that real classic feel of an original Game Boy game. Now, one thing people have commented on in the past also is the cutscenes, to not being able to speed through them if you just want to get playing. And you can now do that by holding down the buttons. I'm just mashing the buttons here, and you can see we're just speeding right through, and we're off and running. We're into the game. Christophe Galati, the creator of the game. Marc-Antoine Arche does all the music. Music, you can tell, kind of has that almost Shovel Knight style. So again, from the Patreon, the creator wanted everyone to notice that with the game, there are now new enemy layouts, new changes to some of the boss fights. Again, there's that ability to look upwards now. Skipping through the cutscenes, they've adapted some new changes to the English localization, and again, these new game borders here that I've been showing. Add in that new feature of the hint system, the ability to go through and play your soundtrack, and upgrading it from 2 to now 3 different game modes. The definitive edition really does have quite a few changes and makes it more of a complete, awesome experience. So again, here it's very clear that this game was a labor of love, and you can see a lot of that in the aesthetic, in the gameplay, and what they were going for when creating it. Like I said, this game looks to be probably about a 15 to 20 hour game of completion. This game's going to be available May 5th on Steam and the Nintendo eShop, and I hope you guys go check it out. Thanks again for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing, as it always helps grow my channel. Until I see you guys again soon, I hope you all take care and be good to each other. Bye now.